dear learners. Welcome to teaching learning session of sociology. Today we'll discuss about structure and change, factors and dynamics of those structures and changes. In our last lecture, we discussed about the marriage, about family, and about kinship. Right. And now, with the change in the time, with the advancement of the time, there is a change in the structure and structure of kinship, structure of family, and the structure of marriage. There are various factors which plays an important role in this change. As we all know that family is a social institution and we find family everywhere in every society. It's a universal institution, right? The family system is ideal, but it serves as, why it is an ideal, because it serves as a guide to behavior and as values. What we get our values, our beliefs from the family, from our family. So it serves as a guide to our behavior and values, or a set of norms that are passed from generation to generation. Mating, procreation, and associated activities of child rearing necessitate personal closeness, habitation in the same dwelling, and cooperation of members in provision of domestic services. Therefore, nuclear families are normally the residential units. When we call a family, because see. There are certain prerequisites like mating, procreation, and other associated activities of child rearing. It necessitate the personal closeness of the members, right? And they habitate in the same dwelling and thus form a family. Families may own property and engage in economic production simultaneously. We discussed about this. Economic, political, and social forces have brought about the changes in the specific characteristics of a family units in a particular way. As a result, the size, the composition, and the behavior of member of a family have changed over time in different societies. See, when the members live together, they eat from the same kitchen, when they help each other economically, when they help each other in other household activities, right? When they uh, perform rituals together, right, then we call it as a family. But with the advancement of a time, with some social, political, and economic changes, this has this these factors are responsible for these factors are actually responsible for the changes in the structure of the family. Now, because of this, now there are certain changes in the structure of the family, right? Like the size of the family has changed, the composition and the behavior of the family member has changed. Types of the family, right? Classification on the type of family can be done on three bases, that is the size and composition of the family, the generation, and the membership, right? Size and composition of the family. On the basis of the size and composition, there is a change in the structure of the family, right? What is the size of the family? What do you mean by the size and the composition of the family? There are size and composition means the number of members live together in the same habitat, right? That is the size. On the basis of this, we can divide the families into nuclear family, joint family, and the extended family. Nuclear families, the most basic and ideal form of family found all across the world. Nuclear family includes a husband, a wife, as well as their unmarried offspring. Right? So nuclear family includes a husband, wife, and their unmarried offsprings. This is the size of a nuclear family, or this is the composition of a nuclear family. This is the basic unit of the family, and the family size is 10 in this nuclear family. This is self-contained autonomous unit. This is referred to as a major family. Its components are orientation and procreation. right? So what are the components of a nuclear family? That is the procreation and the orientation. Next family is conjugal family. Family comprising of the husband, wife who have been married for a long time with or without children. Even if there is a children, that is okay. Even if there is no children, then again they form a family, and that family is known as the conjugal family. The composition is of the family is smaller than the joint family, right? Then the extended or the joint family, this type of a family has large size than the nuclear family. It is also possible to have more than two nuclear families in a joint family. This is the prevalent set of Hindu joint family, right? Two or more nuclear families, when they live together, they form a joint family, right? Father, mother, their sons, their wives, unmarried daughters, grandchildren, grandfather, uncle, auntie, and their children, father's parallel cousin, and their offspring, and so on, make up this family. This nuclear joint or a extended family. A joint family includes mother, father, their married and unmarried children, their married and unmarried children, specifically unmarried daughter, right? Then their wives of their married son, their grandchildren, right? uh, Parents of father and mother means grandparents, right? Then uncle and aunts, right? If there is any, then they, and then the children of uncle and aunt, right? And then the father's parallel cousin and their offspring. All these forms a joint family, and this is a prevalent form of a Hindu joint family. Then on the basis of the generation principle, we can classify the family. Generation principle is what? Depending on the number of generation of member comprising the family, right? It can be classified into two or three generation family. How many the number of the generation residing in the same household, that is the on the number of generation. In simple society, family could be up to four generation, tracing backward from great grandparents, father, son, and the grandson. This was the structure in simple society, right? Now in nowadays, in today's family, we can divide it into the two generation family, or at max three generation family. Two generation family, it consists of member from the two generations, right? Right, mother, father, their children, or mother and daughter, father and son, right? Right, consist of two generation, mother, father, right, and their children. Murdoch describes the nuclear family as a two generation family made up of mother, father, and their children. Such kind be found in both hunter gatherer and the industrial societies. So nuclear family is also known as the two generation family because it includes mother, father, and the children, right? So this is two generation, one generation of mother, father, and the other generation of the children. So Murdoch described the nuclear family as a two generation family, right? And according to Murdoch, this type of a family can be found both in the hunter gatherer and the industrial society. Next type of family on the basis of generation is three generation family. Extended family consists of members from the three generation: grandfather, father, or his brothers and their children in patrilineal society. Grandmother, mother, and daughters forms a unit in the matrilineal society. Three generations family means there are the three generations. That is, in patrilineal or patriarchal society, grandfather, his son, one, two, or three, right? That is the grandfather, father, father's brothers, and next is your children, right? Or in matrilineal society, grandmother, mother, and daughters, right? Three generation family. Then on the basis of membership we can classify the family. There are the three bases on which we can classify the family, that is on the size and the composition, that is on the basis of the generation. And the third factor is the membership, on the basis of how many members are assigned to a group. Murdoch classified families into two types: family of orientation. So according to Murdoch, that is, we can divide the membership into two, that is family of orientation. A family of orientation is a family in which one is born. A family serves as a social situate children and plays an important role or a part in their socialization. This is the understanding of a family from the perspective of a children. That is family from an orientation. Membership, you could be a member of a family that is in which you are born, right? That is known as the family of orientation. Family of orientation, in which family I am born or you are born, that is the family of orientation according to the Murdoch, right? There is a family of orientation. Family of orientation means family in which one is born, and this family plays an important role in the socialization of the children, and we can understand this type of a family from the perspective of our children, right? So this is the family of orientation. Another is family of procreation. What is for a family of procreation? As the name indicates, a marriage based family is referred to as a procreation family, right? So one of the main factor of marriage is reason of marriage is procreation, right? According to the Kapadia, there are three reasons of the marriage in Hindu marriages. That is, it is a dharma, then it is uh, procreation, and then to fulfill these sexual desires. Right? These are the three important roles, which are important factors, which is associated with the institution of a marriage. So, a marriage-based family is referred to as a family of procreation. The family function to produce and socialize children. When individual grow up and marry, they initiate the formation of conjugal family of a family in which you are born. That is the family of an orientation, right? You could be a member of a family in which you are married. That is a family of a procreation. That is a marriage based family, is family of procreation, right? So in which you are born, and the family of procreation is the family function is to produce and socialize the children. When individual grow up and marry, they initiate the formation of a new family, right? And through copulation or procreation. Variation in the structure of the family, right? There are the variation because of the political, because of the economic, and because of the social factor. There is a variation in structure of the family, right? So the variation can be understood at the two level. First, at the level of authority. What is the level of authority? Whether authority is in the hand of a male or female. So now there is a variation in the structure, that is on the basis of authority. Who holds the authority in a family? Whether a male part holds the authority in this, or a female, right? Men or women. Second, in terms of authority structure, that is kinship relationship between the members residing together. First is the level of authority, and then second is the structure of authority. That is, this level of authority is who holds the authority, and second is the structure of authority, that is kinship relation between the members residing together. The most common structure used in anthropology to understand the nature of change in family is the joint and the nuclear family. Authority structure. The authority structure within the family differs from society to society and largely determined by the line of descent. So this authority structure it varies from society to society, whether it's a patrilineal society or it's a matrilineal society, and it is determined by the lineage or the line of descent. In matrilineal society, the authority resides with the female, and in in patrilineal society, the authority resides with the father or a male, right? In matrilineal society, the authority resides with the female or the mother. So it depends on the line of descent or lineage, right? One of the same thing. On the basis of two types of families are identified, that is the patrilineal or the patriarchal society and matrilineal or matriarchal society. Patrilineal society. A patrilineal society is one which follows a unilineal principle of descent. We discussed about the unilineal principle of descent in our last lecture. What is the unilineal principle of descent? When we consider only one lineage to describe our lineage descent process, right? It traced from the male line, right? When we traced our lineage from the male line, that is known as the patrilineal society, right? When we that is when we inherit or when we take up the name of our father, right? When we are known by the name of our father, then that is known as the patrilineal society. In patrilineal society, in which the unilineal principle of descent has been followed and it is traced through the male line, right? In patrilineal society, the authority is in the hands of the eldest male member of the family or the father. It could be the father. Or the patriarchal family is one where the paternal side holds all the power. So in patriarchal family or in patrilineal family, that the power is in the hands of the eldest male member of the family, and the in patriarchal family, the patrilineal holds all the power. While the residence pattern in patrilineal society is patrilocal. Patrilocal is when residing with the groom's father, right? When bride moves to the groom's father house after marriage, that is the patrilocal type of a residence. So residence pattern in patrilineal society or patriarchal society is patrilocal, right? Or virilocal. Virilocal is residing with the husband's relative. In any case, the bride moves from her place to her um, husband's place, right? Which lets the women transiting from their matrilineal home to the marital family. The patriarchal family has existed in numerous forms. In some cases, such as in India, it is a part of a joint family. It is sometimes a stem family with only one of the sons moving his family into paternal home, right? Matrilineal or matriarchal society, this is the society where the female line is used to trace the descent, and the property is likewise passed down through the female line of ancestry. This type of society is known as the matrilineal society, or this type of a family is known as the matrilineal family. That is when the line of descent, it is even unilineal, and the line of descent is traced through female side, right? And the property is likewise passed through the female line of ancestry. Patriarchal family is a type of family in which the wife or a mother is the chief authoritative figure. It means that the power lies in the hands of the eldest female of the family. Women have the right to perform religious rite in this type of a family, and the husband resides in the wife's home. Right? This is when the grooms move from his place to bride's place. Right? That is the in this in matrilineal society. That is the groom moves from his place to bride's place. Right? The status, name, and sometimes the inheritance are passed down through the female line in a matriarchal family, and also known as the maternal family or mother right family. It's a status, whether the name and sometimes the inheritance, it passed down through the female line. The Khasi and the Garo tribe of Assam and Meghalaya, as well as the Nayars of Malabar in Kerala, have this type of a family. Otherwise, majority of societies or majority follows the patrilineal type of descent, but the Khasi and Garo, Khasi of Assam and Garo of Meghalaya and Nayars of Kerala, right, they have this type of a family. This type of a family means matrilineal type of a family. They trace their descent from the side of their mother. Organizational structure. What is organizational structure? A nuclear family consists of two generations of family living in the same home, that is the parents and their children, right? So this is a nuclear family. Nuclear family consists of a two generation of a family living in the same house, right? According to Murdoch, two generation family is what? Nuclear family, where the two generation live together in the same home. An extended family was defined as a joint family. Therefore, a joint family is extension of a nuclear family horizontally as well as vertically. Right? What is the extended or the joint family? Joint family is the extension of a nuclear family. Nuclear family includes mother, father, and the children. Right? When it extended horizontally as well as vertically, it forms a joint family and or a extended family. The family becomes the joint when more relatives are added to the nuclear family, right? When mother father, despite of the mother father and their children, when more relatives are added, then it becomes a joint family, right? As a result, a joint family includes nuclear family as well as relative living in the same household from the husband's or wife's side, right? That is husband wife, their children, and their if mother-in-law and father-in-law resides with them in the same household, right? Then it becomes a joint family, right? It could extend horizontally or vertically. Iravati Karve defined joint family as a corporate group. Joint family is a group of people who generally live under one roof, who eat food cooked in a one kitchen, who hold property in common, participate in common family worship, and related to one another as some particular type of kindred. Joint family often symbolizes a close bond between members of a family. Iravati Karve worked a lot on the kinship system. Her work is on the kinship, right? So Iravati Karve defined joint family as an corporate group, right? So joint family is a family of, according to Iravati Karve, joint family is a group of people who resides under one roof. This is the prerequisites to be a family, that they should reside in a, according to Iravati Karve, these are the prerequisite to be a family. First is they should reside, that the members of a family should reside under one roof, means they should um, share the household. Second is they should eat food cooked in the one kitchen. There should be no separate kitchen. Even if you are residing under the same roof, but if kitchens are different, then even it is not a joint family. According to the Iravati Karve, family is joint family only when you are residing in the same, you are residing under one roof and eating the food cooked in the same kitchen, right? Next is who hold property in common. Everyone has right in the property. Who holds property in common and participates in the common family religious worships and other things, right? And they are related to one another with a particular type of kindred. Joint family symbolizes a close bond between the members of the family, right? So characteristics of joint family. First is shared residence, should live under one roof. Joint kitchen should be there. They should eat food food cooked in the same kitchen, large in size and composition, because it could lead up to 3 or 4 generations, right? That is the grandparents, right, parents, and then the children, right? The large in composition, affinal or consanguineal relatives are important, right? Affinal or consanguineal relatives are important in this principle of seniority on age and gender, right? So age and gender decides the seniority. Distribution of responsibilities on the basis of the position, right? Then which position which you hold in this society, in the family, according to your age and the gender, the responsibilities have been distributed according to that. Mutual rights and obligations should be there. An economic unit of consumptions and common religious functions and rituals, they should perform all the worships, rituals, and functions together. And economic unit of consumption, right, they should help each other economically, right, because they are associated with each other. Mutual rights and obligation, everyone has certain rights and the obligations, right? uh, then next is factors for variations. Now, what are the factors which are responsible for the variations in the family structure? Right, that is the monetization of the economy. This is one of the main important factor which is responsible for the variation in the structure. The shift from the barter exchange to exchange of goods and services through cash, diversification of the occupational opportunities for employment in varied sphere, improvement in information and technology not only brought about the change in economic but also impacted the structure of the family. So, monetization, right? That is exchange of goods and services through cash. Diversification of the occupational opportunities, that is the division of labor, right? And then the improvement in information and communication technology. All these have brought changes in the economic sphere, and when there are the changes in the economic sphere, it has impacted the structure of the family. The monetization of economy was outcome of colonial policy, but it drastically transformed the Indian social structure, right? So because of this, because of the job, people move out from their joint family to other places, from their town, from their villages, from one city to another city, right? uh, in search of jobs, or because of various other reasons, people move out from their families. This monetization of economy was an outcome of the colonial policy, but it drastically transformed the Indian social structure. Second is industrialization and urbanization. Second factor which impacted the structure of the family is the industrialization and the urbanization. Indian family life pattern was seen to be shifting as a result of two processes, that is of industrialization and the urbanization, right? The acculturation of the urban lifestyle resulted from a people migrating from the rural to the urban areas to work in the industry. Because of the industrialization, people move from their places to another place in search of the job or because of their jobs, right? Then the density of the people, heterogeneity of the population, job diversity and specialization, and complex division of labor are hallmarks of the urban living. When they moved out from their rural background to the urban background because of the industrialization in the search of a job, they moved to the urban places. And in urban places, the density of people is more, right? That the more people are living in these small areas and they are interacting with each other, right? There is the heterogeneity of the population from the all caste, creed, religion are living in the small places at the same place. So there is the heterogeneity of the population, and this density of the population, heterogeneity of the population played an important role in the change in the structure of the family. Job diversity and the specialization and the division of labor, right? All these are the hallmarks of the urban life, and all these factors played an important role in the change in the structure of the family, right? Better access to education and the healthcare institution is also a part of the plan. In addition to the lack of living space, urban is characterized by impersonality and anonymity. No one knows anyone in urban areas. So, although you will get the job in urban areas, but in urban living spaces, that is, there is a lack of living spaces in the urban area. In fact, there is the other characteristic of urban area is anonymity. No one knows you, right? A continuous movement of people into cities seeking education, jobs, medical treatment, and other services have occurred partly as a result of population pressure on the land and due to the family members transit from one location to another. Residential separation has impact on the size and composition of the family, right? Because when the people move out from their family in search of the jobs or because of their education, because of their medical treatment, or because of any other of the issues, right? When the family member transit from one location to another location and the residential separation has impacted, they moved out, they now they have to create their own house, their own residence, right? So this has impacted the size and the composition of the family. So industrialization, the monetization of the economy, then the industrialization and the urbanization are the factors which are responsible for change in the structure of the family. Then social and cultural factors are there which played a very important role in change in the structure of the society, right? That is social and cultural factors like opportunities for higher education. People move out from their places for the higher education. In areas of education, all caste communities had access to the facilities. Some of those who were able to gain access to the exposure to English medium education, right, and began to question some Hindu rituals and tradition related to child marriage, denial of women's education right, property right, and ill treatment of the widows. Educated young men not only desire to marry at far later age than the family tradition demanded, but they also wanted to marry with uh, some educational women with some educational background. Uneducated or less educated women were anticipated to have different kind of influence on the family matter than the educated women. So all these social and cultural factor played an important role in variation of the curve, that is structure of the family. Opportunities for higher education, people moved out for the higher education, right? Those who were able to get the education, they started questioning about certain rituals, right, and the traditions, and they denied to adopt those rituals and the traditions. They now the young men wanted to marry some educated women because the educated women have a different kind of influence on the family than the uneducated women, and this is one of the factor which is the social and the cultural factor which are responsible for change in the structure of the family. Then legislative measures and the government policies are there, which played an important role in the structure in change in the structure of the family. Employment, education, marriage, and the property law have had impact on the family system in the certain ways. Employment act is there, education, marriage, and property law have impacted the structure of the family, like the Indian Workmen Compensation Act 1923 and the Minimum Wages Act 1948 both passed for the benefit of the employees, aims to decrease the economic reliance of the member on the joint family for economic support. Right? One of the main reasons for the joint family is one of the main feature of the joint family is the economic dependence, economic support. But with the passage of Indian Workmen Compensation Act in 1923 and Minimum Wages Act of 1948, right? They both passed for the benefit of the employees, and the aim of the both act was to decrease the economic reliance on the member on the joint family. So this impacted the structure of joint family. Then the Hindu Gains and Learning Act of 1930 declared that property acquired by a Hindu as a result of his education was his personal property, even if education had been paid by the joint family. So this impacted the structure of the joint family until this act, the Hindu Gains of Learning Act, which has been passed in 1930. According to this, if someone has gained or acquired any property because of his education or his own, then that property is a personal property, and that property is cannot be that property cannot be a joint property. That property cannot be a property of a family. That property belongs to the individual who purchased it, right? And even if the education had been paid by the joint family, so this impacted the structure of the joint family, right? In 1929, the Child Marriage Restraint Act was passed. Okay. The Child Marriage Restraint Act was passed in order to prevent the child marriages. It determines the age for the boys and girls to marry at 18 and 14 respectively. Right? So before this act, the child marriage was prevalent. In 1929, the Child Marriage Restraint Act was passed, and the main aim was to prevent the child marriages. So, according to this act, at the time of the marriage, the age of the boy should be 18, and female or the girl should be 14 years of age. This act also aims to provide women more opportunity for education. In India, the minimum age for marriage is now 21 for boys and 18 for girls. Post independent, the Hindu Succession Act of 1956 was passed, giving daughter and son equal right to their father's property. Right? So Hindu Succession Act was passed in 1956. Before that, the daughters have no right in their father's property. But after the passage of this act, the Hindu Succession Act 1956, the daughters and the son have an equal right in the father's property. So this is the one of the factor responsible for change in the family structure. These status challenge the inheritance pattern that existed in the joint family before the Act's enactment, as well as the family dependence on the women. The other factor which have been held responsible for encouraging smaller families are opportunities for higher education, then the ambitions, then increased occupational mobility. We discussed all these things. A growing sense of individuality, that is thinking in terms of individual needs and ambitions rather than thinking in terms of kinship needs and the larger family requirements. Right? There are certain theories of change from joint to nuclear family. One of these theories are evolutionary theories. The evolutionary theory of change in family structure. The evolutionary theory of change in the family structure was summed up the work of Mene, Ancient Law, 1861, where he argued for change from status to contract. The transition from status to contract was visualized as a shift in the institution of marriage, right? That is centered on the family and kin, that is status of orientation to the individual choice. Evolution from status to contract was used by many thinkers to explain the emergence of the nuclear family. Right? That is status change, that is transition from status to contract is, that is the shift of the institution of marriage, the marriage which was centered on the family and the kin, right? That is the status orientation, and now it has shifted to the individual choice, the contract orientation, right? The joint family based on the kin relation give way to the conjugal or the nuclear family. The general theory of social evolution was used to explain the development of the nuclear family. Structure differentiation is a process that occurred during the evolution of the society. As a result, the number of new social institutions emerged, each specializing a role. Many of the functions of traditional family have been taken over by a new specialized institution, such as schools, colleges, workplace, and hospitals in these conditions. This has aided the formation of the nuclear families. So, according to this evolutionary theory, right, this evolu- the structure differentiation in the process occurs during the evolution of the society, and as a evolution of the society, a number of new social institution has been emerged, each specializing in role, and many of the functions of traditional family have been taken over by the new socialized institutions. Theory of nuclearization from joint to nuclear. That was the theory of evolution. Now the theory of nuclearization. The genesis of the family nuclearization theory may be traced back to the start of the Industrial Revolution, when the process of modernization impacted the structure of the family. We discussed it, that the industrialization impacted the structure of the family, and the genesis of this theory has been traced back to that era. Nuclearization of family is considered as the outcome of the impact, such as interpretation presuppose existence of a non-nuclear family. Industrialization and urbanization has altered the traditional family institution, which was described as a joint, and led to the formation of a single or a nuclear family. Right? According to the Talcott Parson, the emergence of a modern industrial society led to the growth of isolated nuclear family, on which the structurally isolated one which is structurally isolated because it's not a part of a larger kinship network. So industrialization and urbanization, according to the nuclearization theory of nuclearization, that is the industrialization and urbanization are responsible for breakdown of the joint family into the nuclear family. Then, according to the Talcott Parson, this modern industrial society, this is responsible for growth of a isolated nuclear families, because they are structurally, why isolated the nuclear family, because they are structurally isolated, because it is not a part of a large kinship network. According to Engels, there was no family during the earlier days of communism, and promiscuity is resigned dominant. With the development of the private property and the state institution, the monogamous nuclear family developed. The emergence of private property required its transfer to the legal heirs. To control the female sexuality and assure legitimate progeny, the monogamous nuclear family evolved. So, according to the Engels, during the early days of communism, there was no family structure was there, right? But with the development of the state and the private property, this concept of nuclear families have been emerged. Why? Because the property has been shifted from generation to the generation, or has been transferred to the legal heirs, and to control the so this has given rise to nuclear family, monogamous nuclear family, right? And to control the reason was to control the female sexuality and assure legitimate progeny. The monogamous nuclear family has been evolved. Then the joint nuclear continuum. Another thing is continuum. There is a continuum between the joint and the nuclear families. In contrast to the theory of nuclearization theory, sociologists in India have argued that the nuclear and the joint family system in India has been seen on the continuum. Right. So another theory is the joint nuclear continuum. Nuclearization theory is that there are the nuclear families. Right. Joint nuclear continuum, according to the Indian sociologist in Indian society, there is a continuum of the joint and the nuclear family. K.M. Kapadia has highlighted the fact that the families who have moved out to the cities maintain their ties to their joint family in the villages or town. This is true. Even if we move out from our native places, then again we maintain our ties back to our villages and towns. They do not function as isolated or completely separate unit in the city, right? Even after they residentially separate themselves from the joint family or from a nuclear family, because of any of the reason, when members of the family move out from the joint family and create their own residence, even then they maintain their ties with their kins back at their native place, and that they don't function as isolated or a complete family even in the cities, right? They still associate, they are still associated with their kins, right? Although they reside separately from their joint family, but still they maintain their ties with their kins and the family members. Kolenda, in her book Regional Differences in the Family Structure in India, argued that the joint family got strength due to industrialization. According to the Kolenda, this industrialization has a positive impact on the joint family because it has given strength to the joint family. In joint family, the economic condition has to be good enough to support a large number of its members, and industrialization provided this as a more hands were needed to renewed family enterprise in which helped one another in striving for the upward mobility. According to the Linda, this has a this industrialization has a positive impact on the nuclear family because nuclear family has to support a large number of members, and to support each other, every member should help each other, and they help the other, they have the kin should help one another in striving up the upward mobility. They are able to strive their kins in the to strive their kins for the upward mobility because of the industrialization, right? IP Desai, in his famous book Some Aspects of Family in Nahua, points out that in Gujarat, a residential nuclear family is embedded in social, cultural, and other non-social environment which are not same as those societies of the West. Right? M.N. Srinivas, in his studies, The Social Change in India, also reject the theory of evolution from theory of from joint to nuclear families. So Srinivas rejected the theory of evolution. He says, even if figures of urban areas shown are dwindling in the size of the family, it doesn't mean that the joint family system is like that. Urban families are frequently not autonomous entities but limbs of the bigger families situated elsewhere. According to the Srinivas, these nuclear urban families or the nuclear families are not autonomous entities. They don't act autonomously because they are still associated with their kins and the families at their native place. But according to Srinivas, they don't act autonomously. They are just the limbs of a bigger families and situated elsewhere. Any crisis in the parent or offspring family will be faced as a common problem. It is true. Any problem either at the parent's place or either at the offspring place will be faced as a common problem. It is a common problem. Then wedding, funerals, and other ceremonies are usually celebrated in the parent's house. Majority of people still go to their parents' place for their weddings or for funerals or other ceremonies. There is occasionally transfer of a person from one family to another, right? So occasionally there is any transference of the person from one family to another. So Indian sociologists declined the theory of nuclearization or theory of evolution. According to them, even if people are moving out from their family, but again they maintain their ties to their joint family, so there is a joint nuclear continuum. There is a continuum. One should not see at the extremes either joint family or a nuclear family. Even if there are the joint families and the nuclear family, there is a continuum between the joint family and the nuclear family, because according to Indian sociologists, the nuclear families don't act as an autonomous unit, right? They still maintain their ties with their joint families, their kins, their relatives at their native place. And they if there is any problem at the parents place or at the children place, that problem is considered to be as common problem, and everyone try to uh, solve that problem together, right? Even they celebrate any of the functions or the ceremonies basically at their parents' place or at the native place. They prefer to celebrate their functions or the ceremonies at their native place with their kins, right? Emergence of new forms of family. Family have been changing and affected by multiple forces like industrialization. We discussed about it, right? Then the growing independence of a women. This is another factor which is responsible for the emergence of the new form of the family. Now women are educated, they are earning well, they understand each and everything, right? They are so this has impacted the structure of the family. Then the rise in the level of education. Because of the rise in the level of education, people started questioning few traditions and rituals which are not correct. Then the economic changes is another factor which is responsible for the change in the structure of the family. Then the legal regulations, we discussed about the various legal regulations which are responsible for change in the structure of the family. Then the feminist critic and the political discourse. Obviously, the politics plays an important role in formation of the society, structure of the society. So all these factors actually played a very important role, or plays very important role uh, in structure of the society. Since 1970s, change in the structure of the family has been taking place, and it started in 1970s. There was an emergence of new form of family like single parent family, same sex family, or family by choice, and cohabitation without marriage. These families were referred to as non traditional families, as it did not fit into the classical definition of family, that is, family on the basis of the biology or the alliance. Right? Right. So now with the change in the society, with change in the with various changes, and now the new type of family forms are mm, the new non-traditional type of the families are emerging, right? A single parent family, either a male or a female mother or a father is taking care of the children without mother or without father. That is the single parent family is there. A same sex family is there, right? Then family by choice is there, right? Cohabitation without marriage, that is the live-in relationship is there. Even court accepts that, right? These are referred to as the non-traditional family, and these non-traditional family did not fit into the classical definition of the family, that is the family by birth, that is the biological family or alliance family, affinal family, right? So it has been changed. Family by choice. What is family by choice? The term Families we choose was used by Keith Watson to describe pure form of kinship different to the biological family. That is, the family in which we are born is the biological family, but the families we create suggest that individuals have choice for the formation of the family. The family by choice is illustration of the fact that biology is not only defining feature of kinship. People can be the kin without sharing the blood or the marital relationship, right? We can see you are like a brother to me. I consider him as my brother or a sister or he's my friend. That is the family by choice, right? When you consider someone as a member of your family or consider someone as your kin, that is the family by choice. Kinship is based This type of kinship is based on the love and enduring solidarity that expected to characterize this type of the family relationship. It also negates the idea of procreation based on the heterosexual identity. Family is no longer seen only as a unit of reproduction, rather, it is a non procreative unit. Right? According to the traditional family, according to the traditional definition of the family or the marriage, that is the procreation is one of the main functions of the family. Now, family by choice or nowadays, this the family by choice negates the idea of procreation. Right? Nowadays, family is no longer seen as a unit of procreation only. Right? Such family ties are based on the ideology of choices and love and stand in opposition to biological model of kinship. The families of choice therefore emerge as important basis to questions of biological model heterosexual domain of kinship who has failed to provide support and care to the lesbian women and men. Right? If the family is by birth or because of the marriage, then why people disowns their children, which especially the third gender, usually the family disown, right? So this model, this family by choice model, opposes the model family, that is the biological model of the family. Then live-in relationship is cohabitation is an arrangement where two adults decides to live together on a long-term permanent basis in an emotionally and sexually intimate relationship outside the wedlock of the marriage. They are not married but still cohabitating, and they are emotionally and sexually intimate. There are the number of reasons that may govern individuals' preferences for live-in relationship. It is it finds its foundation in the fundamental right of individual to have a liberty to choose his or her own partner. That is the live-in relationship. For many, it has emerged as a basis to assess the mutual compatibility or establish the financial security prior to entering to the legalized wedlock. For some, it provides an escape from the marriage expenses. Also, those unable to enter into the marital alliance may enter into live-in relationship. That is the members of the same sex or the interreligious or the interracial groups. The term surrogacy family, again, next is the surrogacy family. Surrogacy family is used to refer to a family formed with the help of a third party, generally a woman, who rents her womb for the gestation of a child. The surrogate enters into the legal contract with the fertility clinic that after the delivery of a child, she will have no claim on the or the relation with the child. Surrogacy family function as a traditional family, but the only difference is the notion of maternity is complicated. Right? Motherhood is not defined by the period of gestation, but by the capacity to rent a womb. The absence of Gestational link between the mother and the child does not affect their physical or the emotional relationship, right? So today we discussed about the family on the basis of size and composition, family on the basis of the lineage, right? So and about the factors responsible for changes in the family, right? There are the various factors which are responsible for the family structure of the family structure. In our next lecture, we will discuss about the new topic, that is reimagining of the families. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Namaskar.